People were not able to vote this morning for a good period of time in Champaign County because of a network issue. We started getting calls into our newsroom about that as early as 6:30 this morning. Now, the county has seen its fair share of voting issues in the past, but nothing really to this scale. It's an unprecedented problem for the county. It's called Platinum. That's the reason it happened. Now, several counties use that program, but Champaign County was hit the hardest by it. Let's go to our Capitol Bureau Chief, Cole Henke, to figure out exactly why that is. So, Cole, what is Platinum and how did it affect voting here today?
That Champaign County and many others across the state use to help with their online systems. These are helping connect their main center, like the county clerk's office, to all the different polling sites across the county. And like I said, there were problems across the board across Illinois, but Champaign County got hit the hardest because Champaign County had the most was relying on it the most. Sangamon County uses Platinum. They saw problems, but the problems that they saw were specifically around their their same-day voter registration. In Sangamon County, they still have paper ballots printed out, pre-printed at their polling locations. So when the services shut down from Platinum, they were still able to access those ballots because they already had them in the room. Now, the reason that Champaign County doesn't have those pre-printed ballots is because Champaign relies on a voting center method, and they had these they print on demand. So you can go to any polling place across the county, and when they're able to pre-print on demand, you can get any ballot from across the county. Now, I spoke with Aaron Ammons today at a press conference he had, and he said that going forward, he may look at more options to have both the online options, the electronic options, and the in-person pre-printed versions, but he said that it can be very costly. So that was why we saw issues at places like Sangamon County, but not nearly to the same extent. Sangamon County, their in-person, same-day voter registration, all they had to do, they called up over the phone, and the election judge would call their county clerk's office and relay voter information to get them registered. But County Clerk Don Gray also just said, go to the county clerk's office. It'll be much quicker there. It'll be easier. And they were able to keep things moving throughout the day. But obviously, we saw some more extensive issues just because they relied on the system a whole lot more than some of these other counties. Karina?
All right, Cole, thank you. We also know that this issue spilled into the courtroom today. Our reporter, Amanda Brennan, was inside that courtroom to find out exactly what was happening. Amanda, what did you hear when they were talking about this today?
Well, Karina, it's not every day you spend election day in the courtroom, right? But you touched on it. Really at the root cause of all of this, why were we in the courtroom? It was because of those delays that we were seeing in the morning. Both Clerk Aaron Ammons and State's Attorney Julia Reitz filed an emergency injunction asking for voting to be extended until 9 p.m. But then when it got to the end of the day, they decided that wasn't needed. So voting is not going to be extended. It will end here at 7 p.m. like it was originally planned. So why did they decide to withdraw? Really, I mean, that's what happened in the courtroom. They withdrew their petition, right? In the long run, Ammons and Reitz say it would just take longer to count the ballots. After 9 p.m., they would have had to switch to provisional ballots, something Reitz and Ammons say would just cause some logistical issues for the counting. It would delay the final numbers, and Ammons says they always try to avoid using them. Provisional ballots have the same questions and look the same as other ballots, but there are additional verification steps that must be taken, and they go through a different counting process altogether. So I asked Julia Reitz a few questions about all that today. She broke it down in a press conference.
We're seeking essentially a preliminary injunction, a very emergency court order. That's really what's allowed by the statute in order to address these issues, and so that was the process we started with. It was definitely a learning process along the way, and again, I appreciate all of the work that my staff, my civil division, the Attorney General's office, the Board of Elections all put into helping us try to figure out the best route here. But in the end, I really think that the voters of Champaign County are going to come out, hopefully not, at 6:45, but are going to come out, are going to take advantage of the universal voting aspect.
She says her office is always on call for election day, but they've never experienced something to this extent.
All right, Amanda, lots going on today. Thank you.